angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our words of stone are ashes and we both passed on, let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody had a relatively decent weekend. It's Monday. What can I say? I had a pretty busy weekend. I was relatively productive. Probably won't look like it, but I was. Wow, lots of stuff. So I do have a topic today that we're going to get to in a bit. And I think I'm going to title that topic, Is Truth Really Subjective? Because I think that is something that is often used when somebody doesn't want to admit that they are wrong, or at least could be wrong, but at the same time want to take ownership of the debate. I honestly feel that, and I'll show you why. I've got an example. I come bearing gifts. So anyway, we'll get to that here in a moment. It was a rather productive weekend. I've got a lot of work still to go. Not too bad, though. We did, and of course I'm speaking of the Kratom website. We're getting there. Let me run through the housework real quick, and then and I'll show you where we are and what we got and all of that. It's almost there. It's close. Amazon affiliate, we are at $7.17. So I want to thank everybody that partakes in that. Basically, we're an Amazon affiliate. If you shop Amazon and if you feel so inclined, we have a link in the description of the video. If you use that link before you make your purchase, it will give us, usually it's about 6 to 8% of the purchase price, so it doesn't cost you anything more. Those a little bit our way, kind of helps us out. You can also go to the watchmannews.com, and we have search boxes here along with different miscellaneous subjects, different items that just come up randomly from Amazon, but you can put anything you want in the search box and click go, and it will pop up with Amazon's page. And again, it will put that what they call a tracking cookie on your browser, and when you make a purchase, it will get credited to us. So again, thank you for everybody that partakes in that. It does help. And if you don't shop Amazon and you would like to help, we also have another method. You could either go to the watchmannews.com/donate, or you could just go to the watchmannews.com, the homepage there. In the menu, there's a donate button. You click that. It takes you to the PayPal donate page. And like I always inform people, just in case they get confused, it will say Transforming Disabilities up top, but it also says Purpose the Watchman News donation. So anyway, any of that is well appreciated and never necessary. So, or mandatory, or whatever the case. Sometimes it is a little necessary to help out a little bit, but it's not mandatory. If I said that right. I don't know if I still said that right. Who knows? Anyway, so now that that's out of the way, I did get a little bit more work done. Let me show you. You're not going to see a whole lot as in the line of products. You won't in the beginning anyway. But the work that I got done is primarily on the back end of the website. So anyway, I've got this stupid little box up now that pops up to verify that you are 18 or older. I have to do that, so it's annoying, I know. But this box does use cookies, so once you click that yes button, it will put a cookie on your browser, and you won't see it for 72 hours. For three days, it goes away. You won't have to worry about it popping up again. It was, by default, set for 30 days. Kind of uncomfortable with that. So I figured, well, 3 days is good enough. Literally, all you have to do is click yes, and it's gone. It's out of the way. It's over. It's not that hard. The first box I put up there wanted you to put in your birth date, and for two reasons I don't like that. For one, I'm sorry, but I'm uncomfortable giving my birth date. I just am. It's just one of those things. It's not because I don't want people to know my age, but I am a little concerned about what type of data people may be logging when it comes to me. So if you're going to a website to buy something, okay, and you're asked to put in your birth date, and then of course your name, and then your address, you're starting to get in a little bit of the leery area there. Once you put all those things together, if somebody was malicious, having that birth date would be pretty useful for them. So anyway, I found a box, a decent box, that would pop up that just has yes or no, pretty simple. So that's what I switched to. Anyway, of course, you do see more products up there. There will be 2 more up there. We got it in today, the golden elephant. It came in today. I need to get it up there. I don't have pictures of it yet, but I did put up a decal I designed, and I cut it to make sure I could cut it okay. It says Kratom Saves Lives, and it has this logo just in white. It has our logo on it, and then it says WatchmanNews.com at the bottom. So again, I know this site isn't just the WatchmanNews.com. Technically, it's health.thewatchmannews.com, but I just put the WatchmanNews.com on there because the link will be on the regular website. So anyway, it's really close. I just got to do a little bit of merchandise work yet, and I'm targeting Friday. So that is my target for Friday, for the website to be completely active and good to go. So it looks like it's working pretty good. I mean, this is a very, very smooth running website. Again, I just got to put a couple more products up, got to do some finishing touches, a little bit of polishing, got to do an About Us page. I hate doing those pages, but I got to do an About Us page. And it seems, I want to put a link back to the news page from this page. That way people can go kind of back and forth easily. Let's see. I think that's about it, really, and it'll be good to go. So, again, we did get the golden elephant in today. Our different types, our different strains are actually going to be in different colored capsules, okay, for those that choose to buy the capsules. And so the green Mangda is in green and clear capsules. The red Bali is in red and clear capsules. And I've got some gold capsules coming for the golden elephant. So all of the, like I say, all the different strains that we carry will be in different colored capsules so you can better identify them. Anyways, just kind of, and I don't see anybody else doing that. I figured, why not? Yes, it costs a little bit more. I don't care. It looks cool. And it'll help you identify it a little easier, a little better. Nonetheless, I think we're about there, though. I really do. I did a lot this weekend. I mean, there was a lot of beating my head up against the wall to get everything working just how I want it to work. Sometimes websites can be a bear. But I've got to add some menu items. Like I say, I've got a couple products to add. I'm targeting Friday, and as long as we're waiting on the capsules, we're still waiting on the bags. So as long as all that comes in, Friday should be a green light to be able to actually open this up for orders. And I'm excited. I am like really, really excited. So, wow. So that's all the updates that I have as far as that is concerned. So let me close a couple pages here. All right. So let me get to the topic at hand that I kind of brought up. Now this was prompted by if I say the word discussion, I need to put it in quotes because apparently there's no discussion allowed. I have more than once recommended a Facebook page here on the show. And I'm not going to unrecommend it, but I am going to give you a warning, a stern warning about the page. I've often recommended a page on Facebook called DD12, the Dirty Dozen Post-Apocalyptic Authors. And as long as you go there and you either keep your mouth shut or you toe the statist line, you'll be fine, okay? But if you post anything other than towing that statist line, you will be called out. And I just want to give everybody that warning. Again, it's a great page to be a part of. There's a lot of good content there. But the moderators clearly have not spent very long moderating. They haven't. Not only that, but I think they spent very little time, I'm going to just say it, thinking. And again, I'm going to show you because I don't think I was out of line here. And the question is the truth really subjective? And the reason why that particular question is because there was, stemming from this conversation, quote unquote, there was a private message as well. I'm not going to show the private message, but the comment was made to me, and I've heard it a million times, the truth is subjective. And no, the truth is not subjective, okay? Truth is truth, okay? It's not fluid, okay? Truth is static, okay? You take what the facts are, and you put the facts together, and it equals truth, okay? That's not subjective. That's not fluid, okay? And that's a slippery slope to get on, because that's how you come to a factual conclusion and then wind up way over on a different planet because you subjectified it to death. And yeah, I probably made up a word there. But here's what we're talking about. So somebody had put on their group this news article. And in and of itself, that's fine. Okay. Not an issue there. But somebody here had commented, a very true statement, by the way, the U.S. creates enemies by invading them, sanctioning them, drone striking their women and children, steal their resources, topple their regimes, set up puppet dictators, install a Rothschild central bank, and then call them terrorists if they resist. Okay, I'm failing to see where he was inaccurate with anything he said. Okay, do they target the women and children? No, they don't target the women and children. But since they've started the drone programs, there sure is a hell of a lot of collateral damage that includes women and children. Okay, a lot. It is insane. It is insane the amount of collateral damage now from the drone programs. Absolutely mind-blowing. And how do you create terrorists? That's how you create terrorists, okay? When you go and kill innocent families, okay, you are going to have people that harbor a grudge as a result of that, a very serious grudge. Just put the shoe on the other foot, and I've used this many times here. If you had a country over here, unwanted, by the way, unwanted, okay, that was killing innocent men, women, and children, okay, would it not harbor hate? I'm failing to understand that, okay? So anyway, as you can tell, if you're familiar with Facebook, Mr. Kenny Hall is no longer a member of the page because he got booted for this. Okay, he got booted. Now, I had commented in agreement with him underneath of that. I said, it certainly has become the American way. And they even get, quote-unquote, Christians to back them in doing it. Folks let ego and pride block them from stepping back and looking at what is going on. They can turn on their favorite news or bring up their favorite news website to confirm the lies they want to believe. Pride goeth before the fall, and we are about to fall hard on our face. All those that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear can do is prep, pray, and stay out of the way. And I know you hear that from Roy Potter, but it's completely accurate, okay? Now, apparently, as indicated by one of the group moderators I'm seeing, I was a dick. We both were. Kenny and myself, we were specifically called out. And that's where my issue is. There was somebody else up here that made a comment too that I thought was very interesting. And now, finally, I see where it says Rule 1 here. It didn't earlier. Somebody actually said, are you one of those that declares any news that doesn't dangle from the president's balls fake news? Okay, he wasn't called out earlier. So, and I looked at that and I'm like, wait a minute here. We got called out, and while not directly called assholes, we were indirectly called assholes for simply telling the truth. Okay, what did I state that wasn't true? Okay, so in this private conversation, again, the statement was made, the truth is subjective. And that being partially because of my quote-unquote Christian's comment. Now let me show you how truth is not subjective with this. Okay? Can anybody tell me since when thou shalt not murder is not a part of the Ten Commandments? Okay? Does a government override God? If the government tells you it is okay to go murder people, does that make it okay to go murder people? Above God's authority? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have a right to defend yourself. You most certainly do. If somebody's trying to kill you, you kill them back. Period. That's different. Okay? There's a lot of people that think that the scripture says thou shalt not kill, and that's not true. It's thou shalt not murder. There's a difference. Okay, if somebody is trying to harm you, you do have the right, even in God's eyes, to defend yourself. But to go and kill people because a government tells you to does not excuse you from God. It doesn't. The truth is not subjective. And to think that it's okay to go over to Iran, who is not attacking us, or to go to Venezuela, who is not attacking us, and just start killing people for profits, for resources, for whatever excuse they have this week, that would make you a lukewarm Christian at most. At most. Yeah, I'm very spiritual, as I worded it. I don't want any labels. I don't want to be labeled Christian. And it's not because I don't believe in God. It has nothing to do with that. But I see a lot of this in Christianity. Okay? A lot of it. And it's not good. It's not good. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to get into a whole big Bible lesson here because I guarantee you that most people will not agree with my beliefs. That I can guarantee you. But you do your homework and you start to get uncomfortable with some things like celebrating pagan holidays, for instance. Okay, so again, I kind of try to distance myself from that label, and it's not out of anything other than I'm doing it for me, right? I'm not going to judge anybody else for what they say, what they think, what they do. Okay, not going to happen, right? But if somebody's doing wrong, I will most likely distance myself from them. I certainly have the right to do that. I don't have the right to judge them, but I have the right to judge whether or not I should be around them. So I'm trying to word it in ways not to be too offensive or not that I care much, but or too, what's the word, confrontational about it. But, essentially, that's what I was wanting to discuss, is the truth subjective? I don't believe so. Because the truth is based on facts. Trying to say it is subjective is saying that you want to sway that truth to fit your argument. Well, now you're not talking about facts anymore. And if you're not talking about facts, then you can't possibly be talking about truth. They're one and the same. They're one and the same. Now, opinions are subjective. Opinions are 110% objective, but not the truth. So if you ever hear somebody say that in conversation or debate, understand what they are trying to do. In reality, they're admitting wrong without admitting wrong, and at the same time trying to take the higher road in that debate, so to speak. That's all that is. It's ridiculous. And again, it's a great group, but I'm telling you right now, you have to toe the statist line. If you don't toe the statist line, you won't do well there. You won't do well. Most of the time, I keep my mouth shut. There, I really do. There's a lot of good information there, a lot of good stuff there. Seems to be a relatively good amount of people, decent people there. But the moderation is total statists, complete. I mean, it's insane how bad it gets sometimes. Now, if you want to talk about killing a Venezuelan, if you want to talk about killing an Iranian or killing a Muslim or anything like that, that's fine there. That's fine. You can talk it up all you want, right? But if you toe anything other than the Fox News line or Fox News agenda, no, they'll call you out. You'll be considered wrong. And if you try to say anything whatsoever to defend yourself, as you see with Mr. Kenny Hall there, you're out the door. So, and nobody's got a right to a First Amendment there. I want to make that clear. Nobody's got a right to a First Amendment, not in a private group, okay? That's just like here. Technically, you don't have the right to a First Amendment. I will do my best to make sure you have your First Amendment here. But if you berate me, and especially if you're hypocritical at the same time you berate me, I will boot you out the door. Okay? Because I ain't got time for that. That's stupid. I ain't got time for that. And likewise, if you berate other people here, if you berate other people in the chat, stuff like this should be common sense kind of stuff. Be decent to one another. Be decent to one another. Don't support violence. Don't support hate. Don't support racism. It's common sense. It's common sense. I don't like banning people, and I haven't banned them very often whatsoever. In fact, it was shocking. I had to ban one a couple of weeks or whatever ago. It's not something I have to do, nor that I want to do often. But again, if you berate me and are hypocritical at the same time, I'm probably going to help you out the door. Because again, I don't have time for that. Nobody really wants to, deal with that crap. There's a lot of issues in this country that we need to address, okay, and we can't address them at the same time as defending them. It doesn't work that way. We are hurting in this country. We are severely, severely hurting in this country, and it's going to get bad. It's going to get bad. And like I was saying in there, and I fully mean this, like I was saying in there, as Roy Potter says, prep, pray, and stay out of the way. Make sure you're ready. Make sure your connection to God is good, and you're on good terms, as best terms as you can be. And then stay out of the way. Let these idiots kill one another. Okay, don't get in the middle of that. Don't be a part of it, and don't get in the middle of it, because they will certainly destroy themselves. The divide in this country and among nations is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's not getting any better. Not getting any better. As far as on a foreign front, so to speak, we are really, really poking. We are poking as much as we can be poking. And I'm talking about other countries trying to provoke. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know if President Trump is just being ill-advised or if he's a part of it. I don't. It could be either way. You know, he could have people that... I don't know. I can't see how you cannot see it, though, and I cannot see how you cannot see the writing on the wall, what's about to happen as a result. But then domestically as well, it's ridiculous in this country. It just really is insane what is going on. Where Change has a video that talks a little bit about it, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But I look and it's like, wow, you know, we have to tread very lightly if we want to keep our constitutional republic. I mean, as it stands, we really don't even have a constitutional republic at this point. That's long gone. Okay, but if we want to get it back, or even if we want to keep what little we have left, we better tread lightly and be very careful about what we wish for. Because I tell you what, I sit back and I look and I watch how the left wants to shut the right up and how the right wants to shut the left up. Man, our First Amendment is doomed. Absolutely doomed. And we don't have anybody to blame but ourselves. It's insane. There's not very many people out there like myself that's saying, hey, look, slow down, stop. People just don't get that what you do unto others will be done unto you. That goes for your rights as well. Just because red teams got their leader at the helm, it's not going to be that way forever. In fact, I'm willing to bet that if we're still intact by 2024, that blue team's going to get a leader in. I'd even bet money on it. I do think Trump will get reelected. And without all kinds of stupid, crazy conspiracy, I think he'll be reelected. I think people will reelect him. But I don't see a Republican getting in 2024. It typically don't work that way. Usually it seesaws back and forth. But what's going to happen then, right? You have to remember that. What's going to happen then? You know, the miles and miles and miles that red team took when Trump was president, you know, how is blue team going to take advantage of that when they're back in control? So, and it looks like they're going to be back in control. Just kind of what I can project from looking at things. Again, I think Trump will get reelected in 2020. I have a feeling that in 2020 that the Democrats are going to take control of the Senate. We'll see. I think they'll retain their hold on the House. I think they're going to take control of the Senate. But I think Trump would be there with his hands in the air. But then come 2024, I think it's going to be Democrat across the line. Senate, House, President. So be careful what you do today. If we make it that far, man, I don't even want to think about it. It's insane. Anyway, let's do some news. I got some from all the way back Saturday that I'm going to be covering. Headlines. Of course, there was some craziness over the weekend. Everything from airplanes to missiles and you name it. I'm going to have a sip of coffee here. Maybe make that 2 sips. That's good stuff. Okay. Israel responds to multiple rockets fired from Gaza and intercepts dozens. This here is crazy. I'm going to show you this. Mysterious ground-shaking explosion levels Illinois building, shocks residents. Now, this is insane. We're going to open this up because I want you to see this explosion. Supposedly, well, I'll just read it to you. It's not very long. A massive ground-shaking explosion rocked a suburb of north of Chicago on Friday night as a building was leveled by a mysterious blast that claimed at least one life. The explosion took place about 9 p.m. at the AB Specialty Silicon plant in Waukegan, 40 miles north of Chicago. One fatality has been confirmed. 2 people are missing and 4 others were injured in the blast. The Lake County Sheriff's Office warned residents to stay away from the area. Employees were working inside the building at the time of the blast. Waukegan Fire Marshal Steve Lindsay said several workers are unaccounted for. Lake and McHenry County scanner reports the cause of the fire remains under investigation. Now, mind you, no more has came out about this. No more has came out. But I am going to... that's a new picture, I think, from the last time I looked. But I am going to show you a couple of videos here. This is somebody in a car that was kind of driving by the area. What I really want you to see, though, is the explosion itself. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is the force of this explosion. Okay, the force. Listen to how it sounds and look at the force behind it. I'll bring this up too. Now, I lowered it back down. You weren't going to be able to see it, but here you go. Now that explosion was some distance away. I don't know what that was, but it sure is interesting that there hasn't been any more come out about this. That is, mum is the word on this. Mum is the word on this. This is very, very interesting. So, anyway, there is that. Also on Saturday, Illinois governor announces plan to legalize marijuana. Yay! I'm not excited or nothing. By the way, I don't know if it's this. No, it's not this article. I think I shared another one. I'll read it to you. It's got a little more information in it. Sirens ring out and explosions heard as rockets from Gaza target Israeli city of Beer Sheva. I probably said that wrong. Some 25 to 30 suspects linked to Sri Lanka bombing still at large, says the president. I'm assuming maybe their president. I'm not sure. Also Saturday, Maduro calls on army to be ready to defend Venezuela from U.S. attack. Military helicopter crashes in Venezuela. A video of Gaza skyline following IDF attacks on terrorist targets. There was like a ton of targets. IDF strikes 70 targets in Gaza, destroys terrorist attack tunnel. Pompeo's message to Venezuelan people, the time of transition is now. How do you like that? I mean, this is mind-blowing, folks. Mind-blowing. Here we go. Illinois marijuana legalization bill would allow possession of up to 30 grams and 5 plants grown at home. Now, the plants have to be in a locked room out of public view. So, we'll see. He's planning on getting this legislation passed, I guess, at the beginning of the year. So, it could be as early as January 1st. Marijuana would be recreationally legal here in Illinois. Now, from my understanding, their intent is to target, how did they call it, hobby growers? Something like that. In other words, they don't want the big marijuana corporations moving in. They want it to be kept a little more small scale, so that, well, they even use the word minorities would have a better chance at getting in on this as far as making the money, the profit. But it appears that they're just trying to keep it smaller, not necessarily on a smaller scale as far as how much people smoke, for instance, but, a smaller scale as in, again, so that the major corporations wouldn't come in and gobble up all the profits as they often do anytime they're allowed to. So we'll see. I don't trust this governor as far as I could throw him, and by the looks of him, I probably couldn't even lift him. So I'm not going to be able to throw him very far. And I just hope he gets this passed before he goes to prison, because he is under investigation for tax. I don't know the proper word exactly. I don't know if it's tax fraud or tax evasion. Essentially, he disconnected the toilets in his home. A huge home, by the way. He disconnected the toilets in it so that he could have it deemed inhabitable, so his taxes would be a lot cheaper. And so, yeah, he's under investigation for that right now, and he admitted to doing it. So you take it from there as to what's going to happen. Just another Illinois governor behind bars is what it's going to be. Man tortured girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter with a shock collar, fire, and a BB gun. Absolutely insane. Any U.S. action in Venezuela would be lawful. Pompeo drums up invasion option after failed coup. I'm telling you, this is going to get ugly real quick. There's 2 hot spots right now. It used to be I was looking at Syria awful heavily. Not so much at this particular time. I'm watching Venezuela very closely, and now Iran. So, and we'll be coming to that in the news as well. So we are covering Sunday headlines right now. So, U.S. attempt to topple Venezuelan government by force would lead to grave consequences, says Lavrov. Now, Lavrov and Pompeo, I think, were due to meet today and talk. I'm pretty sure they were supposed to meet today and talk. I'll have to look into that and see if that happened and what the result was. Plane consumed by huge fire at Moscow's, I don't even know how to say that, Sheremetyevo Airport. If we run across that name again, I'm just going to say that airport, because, yeah. Intense video captures fiery landing of Superjet 100. That's talking about the same aircraft. Netanyahu instructs IDF to strengthen forces and continue massive strikes after Gaza. Cops charged after, and this was in Australia, cops charged after video shows them pull disabled man from his home and torture him in the front yard. Apparently, the police were called for a health check, a welfare check. That's what I was looking for, a welfare check, just to go kind of make sure this guy was okay. And before it was all said and done, they pulled him outside and literally tortured him right in his front yard, Folks, don't call the police. Okay? Don't call the police. Don't. Find some other method, but don't call the police. Especially if somebody needs help. Don't go there. Okay? Bad news. They are totally incapable and totally untrained to deal with a mental health situation, and you are chancing that person being killed. You're taking a big risk on that. Let's see. Probe launched as over a dozen people feared dead in Superjet 100 crash. U.S. on Friday to bump tariffs 25% on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. At least 13 dead, including 2 children in the plane fire. Again, I'm not going to try to say that, and the death toll is actually way higher than that. So, former priest who impregnated teen girl will keep his job as middle school teacher. I've said it a million times, we can fix this, folks, but it's not going to be at a ballot box. Not going to be at a ballot box. And it will be fixed as quickly as we decide to fix it. We just got to make that decision. Okay? We just got to make that decision. We just got to do it. It's going to have to happen at some time if we want to be a free people. If we want to see justice, true justice again in this country. We have to come to that realization. And we have to get it done. Again, I'm not calling for violence. I'm not saying it's got to be violent. Once again, if we can amass in numbers on state capitals and whatnot, I guarantee you, if you get a big enough number of people out there demanding them step down and leave, they will, without a fight. They won't be happy, but they'll leave. And it's the only way we're going to fix this. We have to remove all of them. If you get cancer, okay, and you go in and have an operation to have that cancer removed, are they going to get rid of the cancer by just taking out some of the cancer, or do they have to take it all out? They have to take it all out. All of it. Because if you don't, what happens? Cancer's just going to spread again. No different in government. And that's why voting will not fix it. Because you will not get all of the cancer out by voting. It's not even possible. It's not even possible. That's just the reality of it. Footage from inside crash-landed Superjet 100 showing raging inferno emerges online. Superjet 100 plane jumped up and hit the ground, burst its engines during landing, leaked CCTV footage. I'm not real sure what's going on with this plane. I've watched the few different videos that are out. Apparently, it got struck by lightning. So, not sure, and I'm sure that they'll be investigating and digging into all of the data out of the black box and stuff. Only 37 out of 78 survived the Superjet 100 crash landing and fire, media citing investigators. I guess I shared that twice. U.S. deploying carrier strike group near Iran to send message to Iran, says Bolton. What message? What message could we possibly be sending them by putting a carrier strike group there? I mean, seriously, let's just be honest. You know, what difference does it make whether that carrier's actually there or whether we just say, you know, if you keep it up, we're gonna strike you. If the U.S. government tells a country that they're going to strike them, I think they can be pretty damn certain that it's going to happen. Okay? Because that's the way the United States rolls. You know? We have no problem bombing and killing people. And I don't mean you and I mean those in control of making those decisions. Have no problem with it. We've got a lot of war hawks in our government. A lot of them. So I think essentially what they're actually doing is they're getting ready. I think they're actually posturing to do something. And that would be Venezuela would be a very, very bad idea. Iran would be an absolute dumbass thing to do. Just saying. You watch. You may not agree with me on that. You see how that plays out. Not going to be pretty. Trump promises Gazan people more misery if terrorist acts against Israel continue. Let's see. Ceasefire reached between Palestinian factions in Gaza and Israel after 2 days of fire. Let's see. Harris Hero, local business owner, leading by example in her son's honor. She's starting a business, a soap-making business that hires disabled people. So actually pretty cool. That's, of course, in the St. Louis area. That's definitely awesome. Trump aide sparks fury for treating 4-year-old video from Ukraine and presenting it as current Hamas strikes. I'm telling you, propaganda is the name of this government. Lavrov slams U.S. actions towards Venezuela ahead of Pompeo talks. And when does that say, hang on. I do want to see that because I don't want to be chasing a wild goose here. After I'm done with the monologue, I'm going to look in to see. Hang on, because I thought the article said when we're going to be talking. Lavrov's appeal to the U.S., okay. On Monday, yes. So, I will dig and see if there's anything from that meeting. So, let's see. Captain of ill-fated Superjet says landing speed was normal. Fire broke out after touchdown. I grabbed passengers by the collar and kicked them out. Stewardess recalls evacuation horror. U.S. warships sail through disputed South China Sea as Trump prompts trade war escalation with Beijing. Global markets nosedive. Asia stocks flash red as Trump renews China tariff threats. Caracas hopes to skirt U.S. sanctions via financial cooperation with Russia and China. A lot to learn from Iran. Tehran helps Venezuela survive under U.S. sanctions. Venezuelan foreign minister holds press conference in Moscow after meeting with Lavrov. Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for. So, I wonder... Let me open this up here. I wonder how long this is. Let me take a peek here. Oh, yeah, 50 minutes. We won't be doing that right now. So... But it is there, and we did tweet it out. I just didn't realize it. I've had my head in the back end of a website. Venezuela vows response if U.S. takes military action. Trump on tariffs. U.S. loses $500 billion a year. $500 billion trading with China. Not going to do it anymore. Pompeo gives speech on U.S. Arctic policies at meeting in Finland. Violation of sovereignty. Beijing warns U.S. incursion into South China Sea undermined peace. Bid to overthrow Maduro's government with CIA and opposition joint plan, says the Venezuelan foreign minister. Washington rules the waves, question mark. Trump using Navy to supplement U.S. diplomacy across the globe. Let's see. Missing safety alarm on crash 737 MAX was not necessary. FAA didn't need to know, Boeing claims. Hands off the Arctic. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo warns China and Russia away from the North. This is what I don't get. We are the United States. We are a continent within the country of North America. We are a country within the continent of North America. Okay? Just one of the countries in North America. Why do we think that we can tell everybody else where they can and can't go on the planet? You don't think that somebody is going to knock us on our ass at some point for overstepping our bounds? Our government is our country. Well, we are our country's leaders, okay? We the people, okay? But our government is confined to this country, not the planet. They're not world leaders, okay? I'm telling you, it's a matter of time. Bolton's battle cry shows U.S. is preparing for military scenario in Iran. Oil prices tumble over Washington's sharp rhetoric against China and Iran. Fake news alert. CNN says Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido won election in January. Yeah, now they're saying that he won back in January. That Russia's Kyiv air base shelled by dozens of rockets. Attack repelled. I know I pronounced that way wrong, I'm sure. Hawks at the wheel. Bolton and Pompeo steering U.S. towards confrontation everywhere. I would agree. It's kind of obvious. CNN peddles Pentagon talking points on credible threat from Iran. Twitter doesn't buy it. I don't either. And here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing. You think there's a difference between CNN and Fox News? Nah. Nope. There's an illusion that there's a difference. But in the end, they both have the same agenda. They want to take your rights from you, okay? They want to push war. You know, it used to be that you could never rely on the Democrats to push war, ever. That was a conservative thing, right? Now, I think the Democrats are pushing for war more than the conservatives are. That's crazy. Crazy. I still have the same view, and I'll close the monologue with this. First off, I think war needs to go to a vote by we the people. Okay? We have the technology now that we could set that up, and that we the people could vote whether or not we were going to go in any type of conflict. I don't want to put just the word war on there because they like to avoid that. They like to call it peacekeeping missions and this, that, and the other thing, right? But you know what I'm saying. Before we go into and invade any other country, I think it should go to a vote of the citizens of the United States of America. But one stipulation. In order to be eligible to vote, number one, you have to be an American citizen with an ID, okay? And number two, you have to have a child of draft age. I think the only people that should be allowed to vote for whether or not we invade another country, the eligibility would be limited to those that have a child of draft age. Do you understand why? I certainly hope so. Anyway, that is going to do it for the monologue. I'm going to go ahead and close it up. Those that are here for the live show, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. We'll be live till 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We just close the monologue like this every day. For those that just watch the monologue, or if you're watching a recording later on, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.